Once upon a time, there was a young basketball player who had dreams of becoming one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
My name is Kobe Bryant. I'm 17 years old with the hunger, the motivation, and a desire to be the best possible basketball player that I could be.
He worked day and night, every day, for years and years and years and years and years. As time went on, 20 years had passed, and he felt that he had accomplished all that he set out to accomplish. But what he come to realize is that the goal that he set out initially of becoming the greatest of all time was a very fickle one. And what he realized that the most important thing in life is how your career moves and touches those around you and how it carries forward to the next generation. But he realized that's what makes true greatness. Well, the story would be about transformation of a kid looking inwardly to then growing up and understanding the importance and the power is looking outward.
It's a great feeling to know that you set a goal for yourself and you were able to reach that goal and to knock it down.
If I had the power to turn back time, I would never use it. I don't think about it. Because then every moment that you go through means absolutely nothing, but you can always go back and do it again. So it loses its flavor, it loses its beauty. When things are final, you know, moments won't ever come again. To be able to have the power to go back and re-experience those things it's silly to me.
When you take that jersey off for the final time, how do you think you're gonna feel?
Very at peace with it, and I'm very thankful, you know, for the 20 years that I've had, and you know, ready to go.
All right, y'all. Those were motivational words by the man himself, the late, great Kobe Bean Bryant out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. R.I.P. to the King. 20 years, Los Angeles Lakers. 5-time NBA World Champ, 18-time NBA All-Star, 2 times NBA Finals MVP, 1-time NBA League MVP during the regular season.
Stole about 2 or 3 from him.
Facts. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Yes! But more important than all that, man, he was a husband, right?
Yeah.
I believe almost 18 years. He was a father, 4 beautiful girls.
Girl dad. Hashtag girl dad.
Girl dad. And all around, man, he was, y'all know, he was, you know, my guy, personally. Yes! One of the fiercest competitors I've ever seen. Resilient. My role model growing up. And, damn, man, like, this shit hurt, bro. But, you know, we'll get into it a little bit, I guess. But,
what we need right now is a drink.
yeah, I need something.
We need a drink.
I need something. As I was preparing the drink of the week, I intro the podcast. I'm your boy Just Kingin, my co-host.
It's your boy Ivy Joe.
This is the Hot Takes and Half Truth podcast.
Where the agreeable goes to disagree.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't think there'll be no disagreement on this first topic this week.
Nah. We know what we're going into.
Yeah. So Ivy's pouring up right now a much needed
libation.
Yeah, much needed libations. I let him get some history on this drink before we dive into this.
Yeah. We got drink of the week this week is Uncle Nearest 1856 premium whiskey, 100 proof. Significance behind this particular brand is that Uncle Nearest is a former slave. and he's actually the guy that taught old Jack Daniels how to do whiskey. And so when you see those commercials with the black guy kind of sporadically in that commercial where they're talking about old Jack didn't want to raise a glass until he was able to raise his own glass, and they had a couple black people sprinkled in there. I guess there's a little bit of truth to it. Whereas, but they didn't go into the nuts and bolts about it as far as Uncle Nearest actually teaching them how to do whiskey.
Yes!
So, with that said, I mean, we're going to raise a glass for Uncle Nearest and Kobe Bean Bryant.
Forgot his 81-point stat. Number 2 in that. Most points ever scored in an NBA game.
Second.
Yep. Yeah, number 2.
Yeah.
Only
Okay.
number 1 is Wilt Chamberlain.
Yes, sir. I didn't hear you, baby. I didn't hear you.
He was number 3 till Saturday night. All-time points scored.
Yep.
Was passed up by Mr. LeBron James himself Saturday evening. He was also present at the game to congratulate LeBron. His final tweet is congratulations to LeBron, telling him to continue to, carry that legacy and push the game forward. And yeah, man. So I guess let's get into it.
I guess just from my perspective, I know you've been going on for a minute. Let you kind of gather your thoughts. When I first heard the news, it kind of shook me as well. And this ain't the time to be this, that, and the third, or what guy he was. But I liked Kobe, but it was never like, it was always like Shaq was my guy. Or when Bron came along, then I was Bron guy. But I can honestly say every time he was in the championship games, I was pretty much pulling for him. I definitely didn't like the Celtics. I didn't like anyone in the West during that period of time, like the Spurs or the Suns. And then especially when they started to steal those MVPs from them, I ain't like that. Like there was 2 years where there was a point guard,
Steve Nash
in Arizona that got MVPs. I was like, man, this is Kobe. Kobe is the best player right now. He's the MVP. But as it came across, I reflect on one of my homeboys actually sent it to me. He was like, I can't believe this. Have y'all seen this? And another homeboy was like, is this shit verified? And once it was, I instantly went, especially when the first reports were that it was 5 people. Instantly, I was like, man, I hope none of his family members is with him. And lo and behold, about an hour later, the figure got pushed up,
double,
to 9, and they confirmed that the little baller Gigi was with him, and that really, really touched me.
Yep.
Like,
that hurt. Mambacita.
Yeah, that really, really kind of like, dang, baby girl just was, hadn't even really started her life. So that really, like, one thing about Kobe is it's a tragedy, but, he didn't accomplish a lot in his 41 years that most probably wouldn't in 100. So, in that instance, he at least is going to be remembered for all the greatness that he's done, whereas she was just at the beginning of it. So, yeah, that one kind of touched me.
Yeah, no doubt. So my situation was a little similar, in that I was told. I didn't stumble into the information. I was outside doing yard work. I come in from doing yard work, and the wife is like, "You done?" And I'm like, yeah. Why? What's up? She's like, I got bad news. The kid is sick.
Yeah.
So, or was sick. And we've had, ups and downs with him and his health and all that, and for the most part, really just ups. But we get, you know how it goes.
Yeah. He's in the nursery now. So.
Yeah, his entire life. Not to, belabor the story, but news before he was born, allegedly they thought they found a mass in his chest or something like that. Then he's born and ain't nothing there.
Okay.
So it's constantly like these super high periods. Then you get some news, and then it's like nothing. It's like a yo-yo. Then we back. So she told me that, and I'm just thinking like, you know, I knew he was sick, and I knew he was. And I'm just like, damn, what's wrong with my boy, man? What's wrong? What's up? And she said something, and she's like Kobe Bryant died or passed, or however she phrased it. And it was all really like a period of relief because I thought something was like really wrong with my boy.
Yeah.
You know, my son. And then, and I didn't really, the name didn't really hit me at first. It was just like, it wasn't justice. That's all I know. It's like, wasn't justice. I'm like, all right, cool. The baby's all right. And then it was like, wait, who? She's like, Kobe Bryant. And I think my response then was like, what? Why? I think I legit asked my wife why. Like why? Why is being gone, man? And so it still didn't settle in with me. I grabbed my phone and I went in the bathroom with all, new parents that go for escape. And I closed the door and I sat on the side of the tub and I opened my phone and I said I had a text from Champ. And it just said, bruh. And I'm shaking as I'm trying to go in to open it. You know what I'm saying? I slide it down, not slide, but my thumb shaking on the little thumb reader thing, whatever. It cut on, yeah, I got the iPhone 7. Shut up. Who cares? I get it open and it's like, I see the link, how it pops up in the text now. And it's just like Kobe Bryant passing a fatal crash or something like that. And I'm just like, nah. I'm like, nah, this can't be. And I open that and I'm just scrolling, just same thing. It was like, tell me he wasn't with his family. And I'm scrolling, and I just see a picture of Gigi, and I just dropped the phone. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't. I'm like, no social media today.
Yeah.
I've been quiet.
Yeah, I didn't.
You had to tweet about it.
Yeah, I did. Because like after a little while, I was like, yeah. I know he hurt. Let me go ahead and do this for the account. You know what I'm saying? Because this is tragic.
So if y'all seen that tweet, like I couldn't muster up the strength to do it. So thank you for tweeting. Everything that I was feeling in that moment. But I put the phone down, dog. And honestly, I went out. I put on like some running clothes, and I told Elise like I gotta run. I was like, I gotta feel something. Like I don't do well with like mental stress and like anguish, emotion, like that, whatever that is. I don't even know where to place it. I'm like, I'd much rather feel physical pain right now than to sit here and try to read through some of this and try to process some of this. And
I think I stayed for the most part off social media till about Wednesday or Thursday.
Facts.
Like, cause I was like, I don't want to keep seeing these people, man. Cause like, wow. Yeah, it especially the ones with like that they had like they walking off into like the sunset together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't think I was on there, but I wasn't on there.
Nah.
If you've seen your timeline, you probably only thing I've been liking is I'm scrolling and I'm just looking for Kobe and Gigi. That's it. Anything else, I ain't seeing it. And that was Monday.
I ain't gonna see
Monday afternoon, because somebody tried to talk to me about it Monday morning. I'm just like, hey, yep, yeah. I heard going in the office. I got my coffee. Normally I get my coffee and I'm very, cordial with people. I'm conversive with people in the morning and stuff. That morning, you can probably still hear it in my voice. Now it's kind of rattled talking about it, man. It's literally the first conversation I've had about it. Because I didn't really talk to my wife about it. I haven't really talked to her since. Because, like I said, I was kind of mad at her. Somehow this was,
it was her fault.
Yeah, but I know it's not. But it's just like you delivered the bad news.
Yeah.
Just like but so yeah, man. So it went from they say there's stages to like grieving and stuff. So I went through like the anger part and I cried in the shower, man. Got R&B music going, and I'm just like, damn, bro. Like,
I don't know if I got quite there. I wanted to, but I felt like it was gonna happen. Eventually, it just didn't. But I was down, especially seeing the little the kids kind of got me. Her and the kid, because it was basically they were going to the
game.
Yeah,
going to the tournament.
Probably Kobe probably went on and bought the fucking flight.
Yeah,
well, all of them.
I mean that was that was the helicopter he frequently chartered. So But yeah, man, it was just a tragedy how it happened, and obviously, I've tried to stay away from opinionated kind of stories, but I've also dug a lot into the facts of what's happened. Okay. I've tried to find like a scandal with this, and
well, it may be one. I mean, I guess so. I think around Tuesday, I then pivot to, man, I hope this doesn't fall back on like the Bryant family, like cause of death, that type of stuff. Then come to find out, I think I was reading something yesterday that he was chartering through a company, and that company shut down operations. So I guess that kind of tells you, especially once they started saying that like the copter wasn't equipped with certain equipment that would have read.
Most aren't though. A lot aren't.
Gotcha.
It's not required.
Gotcha.
So the background.
You done a little more research.
Well, all right. So I've been around for the better part of my life, and I'm no aviation guru, but my stepdad was a aircraft mechanic in the Marines. So I grew up, he used to have flight simulators and stuff, and he would bring me in there and teach me on the flight simulator. So he had me taking off, landing. Now, albeit it's a video game, but it's damn realistic. You crash, you blow up, whatever in this game. So he was kind of and I didn't talk to him till last night. Right? So talking to my mom called me Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I'm like, you talk to dad, and because I want to see what he kind of comes up with versus what I'm kind of coming up with too. And we actually kind of reached the same conclusion, or we did reach the same conclusion. But all that to say is, the company, they've since ceased operations. Right?
Island Express helicopters.
Yeah, so they've since ceased all operations, and doing my digging, right, the company had a policy not to fly in low visibility conditions, as do a lot of charter companies apparently, because it's a cost to benefit kind of thing, right?
True.
It's like, why spend all this money chasing this when 90% of the time you're not going to take it, right? If it's unfavorable, you're just not going to take it. It's easy, right? Rather than to spend millions of dollars getting a certification to only use it a fraction of the time, whatever. So there's that. The pilot was certified, but the company he was working under was not. They didn't have the certification. So you got conflict of interest there, right? And I'll speed this up a little bit. Long story short, visibility was pretty bad. It was bad enough that the local police, LAPD, and the LA sheriffs, all the Metro Department, sheriff departments grounded all their choppers that day because of visibility conditions. I believe conditions you need to have visible, like conditions where you can see 3 miles. Anything less than that, you got to get special clearance to fly, which is what the pilot was trying to get, which is fly by radar. Typically, you go by VFR, which is visual flight, fly by visuals, and then there's IMC conditions where you fly by instrumentation, which is what he was trying to get right before the crash occurred. He actually called. I listened to the call, the air traffic control call. D Hall actually air traffic control. Okay. So even he, I haven't hit him yet, but I followed some of the comments he made on Twitter, and it's just like, all right, so he saw the same thing. But he was instructed to rise like 2,400 feet, clear the clouds so they could get him on radar. Air traffic control was saying they don't even pick him up on radar. He was too low. He was at about 1,400 feet. The crash occurred at about right around 1,100 feet, so 300-foot delta. Going even further into the data and stuff, he crashed at about 184. So there's periodic pings that the radar got. And the last ping it got, they were at about 184 miles per hour, which, if you do some math with that, put that in a purely vertical, which they weren't, but just to give you an idea of how much ground that is, that's about 270 feet per second. So 1,400 feet crashed at 1,100 feet, roughly 300, let's say 300 feet. If you're in a pure vertical at 184, that's 1 point something seconds.
Yeah.
All right. So looking at the flight path of the vehicle, because I did, he made a left bank a left turn. He was coming south, and he was making he made a turn south, and that's when he hit the hill. So it's, aviation. There's a lot of study in the human performance and human error component of like flights, especially with helicopters and like hovercrafts, aviates, Harriers, jump jets, things like that. The aviates, the Harriers used to be referred to as widowmakers by military because they're so hard to stabilize. And you get up there and you get the plane tilted like this, and you're trying to do one thing, and it's like your body has the reflex. You want to correct it, so you overcorrect it and whatever. And that's the dangers to flying IMC with these instrumentation, because it really, what astronauts go through with their training, where they are completely disoriented, right, underwater, and it's like you don't know if you're up, down. You can't tell from the bubbles. They cut all the lights off and everything, so you don't even see the water bubbles, so you don't know which way is up. Air bubbles, which way is up. So to me, it looks like that's just what happened, man. Thick fog, clouds. So it's fog and there was low cloud seasons, right? So probably, got into a bank and just didn't know which way was which. Might have startled them a little bit, and without being able to see where the terrain is, we have no insight into, what kind of topographical map or whatever he was looking at, to even if he knew elevations and all that right there. But looks like he made that turn, that bank, and as you bank in a helicopter, the propeller's pulling you, so very well he could have been banking and pulling back, trying to, get a little bit of thrust behind the craft, and they said he missed it by about 10 to 20 feet. So that shows you how much margin he had. He was too low, and crazy thing is that, some pilots have been speculating, saying like, well, if he wasn't going that fast, if he was going 10, 15 mile an hour, he'd be fine. Like they say, they bump things all the time with helicopters, and at that speed, it's not, fatal.
He was moving though.
Yeah, he was moving. So, and that part is kind of, without taking it too much away from Kobe, but I'm intrigued in the, I don't know why. I'm just trying to solve it as if it can bring him back, and it's eventually I'm gonna have to let it go, but it just intrigues me, man. And it's like, why was it going that fast? And I'm in my role now. It's kind of like root cause analysis, figure out why this happened.
Excuse me. I guess when I looked at it, before I realized they were in the air 40 minutes, I don't usually think it takes that long to get to where they go. So they're probably trying to make up time after a while.
Maybe. So they were in the air that long.
Because from my understanding, it's usually like a 20, 30-minute ride. It was already in the air 45, 40 minutes.
Yeah, but they circled because they were entering another district or whatever jurisdiction's airspace.
Okay.
So he was in the I'm not familiar with the LA areas, but he went north following like Highway 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And before he hit west.
Orange County,
Irvine,
down to
all
LA.
Yep. So before he started heading west, he's crossing into, I guess he left like the Van Nuys. There's what's the damn was it a president or something? What's Orange County's airport? It's named after a famous guy. I always want to say Sam Houston, but that ain't him. That's obviously Houston.
Reagan?
No, it's Irvine's got an airport, right? Okay. So they were leaving kind of that airspace and heading closer to LAX's airspace. So they transferred. They actually transferred air traffic controllers.
Gotcha.
If you listen to that call, the first air traffic controller was a woman, and she's like, "Would you like me to transfer you to this?" And he's like, "Yes." And they transfer him over to the guy, and the guy's talking with him, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, go, but for me to see you on radar and to advise you, you need to get above, like, I can't see you." And the guy kept repeating that, like, "I can't see you, advise, advise." And then he never responded back to that, telling me that he, probably crashed. So, but potentially there was some, like some hurry, some, time pressure or whatever to get him there. That's all. That's, you got, expensive, high dollar clients on there, and they say, "Hey, we got a game at this time." It's potential. It's that the potential is there. I don't want to rule that out. It's just, flight school. You like to think that they train you to, remove yourself kind of from that element, but we're human, we're fallible, and
and if this ain't the first time he dealt with that, he probably felt confident, at least until that last moment.
Yeah, and I'm not too from like the witnesses in the area, how low they say the fog was and all that. Like I'm sure they on board they knew something was up.
Yeah.
Because at that speed and banking at that speed, like I've flown in a helicopter. That's another reason why that kind of hit me. Because it was my nephew's birthday maybe 2 years ago, and we went on a helicopter ride in Orlando, and it's just like, damn, like that could have, it hits home in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, you could also turn that fast and it be normal. I mean, helicopters, I mean, they go fast, right? Just it's all relative to the radius of how wide you turn and whatever else. But I just think, I've gone as far as I think I can go. Like, to your point, it didn't have the terrain avoidance and warning system on there. FAA doesn't require it in helicopters. That's kind of what the NTSB they're going to be pushing for. I can tell they've already pushed for it before, but from now that this has got so much visibility,
got some legs now.
Yeah, I can tell that's going to be like, we recommend that this is mandatory in helicopters, right? Because if it's there, I don't know what it can do at that speed. Because then you're talking physics, right? If you're going 184 at this direction, if that's what it is, and then it finally picks it up, I don't know. My drone, it don't go that fast, but my drone knows like, hey, the ground's right here. I'm not gonna go no lower, right? And maybe they could set a ceiling to it.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. I mean, I think in that instance, maybe it would be one of those things where you can set it to being like, if you need help. Yeah, tell you, hey, you need to slow the fuck up, and pull up.
So not a ceiling; it would set a floor.
Yeah,
say maintain.
Yeah, you need to slow down
2,000 feet
and pull straight up, and he can slow down and then just raise.
And speed is only a problem because the floor was right there.
Yeah.
If you 3,000 feet up in the air and you want to do donuts at 200 miles an hour, I mean that's like taking a Lambo to a straightaway. You know what I'm saying? It's saying. When they go out to the salt flats in Vegas and they test cars and they want to see who could break the land speed record, like, it's space and opportunity. You good. You golden.
Yeah.
But when you got mountains here and valleys here and you flying like this, you need to be aware. And that's
probably the one thing. But the one thing I love about California is the fact that like they have those mountains right there by the beach. It's probably the one time when being a mountainous area, hurt. Like, there was like out here, Louisiana in the South, wouldn't have to worry about that.
The deep South.
You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't have to worry about no mountains and banking into anything. As long as you're about 400-500 feet up, you're good.
Yeah. You hit a McDonald's before you hit a mountain in Florida. I tell you, a hill. There ain't nothing in South Florida. Like I didn't realize Pine Hills had hills until I moved down here. I'm like, yo, it really are hills in Pine Hills. Only elevation you see down here is waste management.
Yeah.
That's it.
True.
You see a mound. You see like a big tall hill.
You see a mound. It is definitely trash.
Must be a landfill.
Yeah. It is definitely trash because you start seeing those little like pipes coming out of them. Like,
okay. There's garbage under all that.
Yes.
But yeah, man. So, from just an engineering standpoint, I'm interested in everything that's going on from like I said, my history with the aviation and stuff, albeit brief, but that's what it's all been intriguing to me and hurtful at the same time. And again, I feel like I'm on the damn NTSB. I'm trying to help them solve it, But at the end of the day, you just got to let the facts roll out, and there's a lot of factors that you won't be able to, put an end to. It's things as crazy as like, damn, was somebody like fighting on board and they bump into the pilot or something? It's a possibility, right? But you'll never know.
Nope.
You'll never know that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
I just didn't hear nothing on the call.
No, and he didn't make any distress calls either, which lends me to that was another interesting thing. Like there was never like a hey, Mayday, I'm disoriented or something like that. Advise or instrumentation is failing. The altimeter is on the fritz. There was never none of that, which tells me that, he makes me believe that he went into this turn kind of confidently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even looking at the wreckage, it's like there was kind of like a small peak, not the peak of the mountain, but a hill within the valley, and he just kind of clipped that, and then of course the accident happened afterwards. They said the wreckage and stuff was found 1,000 yards apart. So I mean, it was a very high impact crash. They said blunt trauma was I looked at all this shit. I'm looking at coroner reports, man. Blunt trauma was the cause of death for all 9 victims, so instantaneous, due to a high impact crash. It's a lot of details, man. A lot of too soon, man. All 9 victims.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I
didn't realize he was out 4 years. He was up for the Hall this year.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that 4 years have passed by fast.
Yeah. Shaq said that's what hurt him, because he was thinking about that. It was like you say, 4 years went by quick, 2016 to now, and Shaq is like, dang, I wonder who he's gonna, who he's gonna call to call him up, to read his, whatever they call that thing,
do his introduction.
Yeah. Who's gonna call up to do that? Is it gonna be him? Is it gonna be, somebody else or whatever?
Maybe his little girl, man. Maybe Mambacita.
Yeah.
That would have been dope.
And so we talked about the technical aspect. I don't want to belabor it much longer, but I do want to get into that aspect a little bit, man. The fatherhood aspect of it, and
all right, go ahead, jump into it, man.
You're
the resident father here.
Well, yeah, yeah, but it's just been since. It's crazy, dog, because just 2 weeks ago, him and Gigi were trending. They were a meme on social media. You know what I'm saying? With him caught sideline at a game, and I don't remember which game it was, but he could tell he was like kind of giving her game with something. I don't know what it was, possibly basketball, but you could tell just that relationship. You know what I'm saying? That they had. And
he said she had it.
Yeah, and what's crazy? Did you see Candace Parker's interview?
No, I didn't see that one.
Candace Parker said that she bumped into Kobe. She said Gigi might have been 2, and he's like, you got to worry about this one. At 2, dog. Candace said she never even touched the basketball. And Kobe was like, this going to be the one. Like, she's going to be the one that you got to worry about. Which is crazy because he has an older daughter.
Yeah. Like
Natalia.
he said, she's an accomplished volleyball player.
Yeah. And this is taking nothing away. She is. She is tall. And Gigi was only 13.
Yeah, I thought that was Gigi at first. I was like, damn, she's
tall. They look so much alike,
dog. Then it was like, oh no, that's the older daughter. She was the middle child. Gotcha.
She I don't know what I was watching. I think it was his final game, and they panned to I don't think the youngest daughter was born. Yeah, the youngest one wasn't born yet. Capri is her name, I believe.
You talking about the 4th one?
Yeah.
Okay.
She wasn't born yet.
She just
she's
10 months old.
Yeah. So it was Bianca, Natalia, and Gianna, right? And I'm looking, and I'm like, there ain't no way she was, because I'm like, she's 13, right? She passed at 13. I'm like, there's no way she was 9 at that age. And I'm looking, I was like, yo, that's not her. That's the other dog.
Yeah, that's the older one.
How they resemble each other. And I mean, they got the same mom and dad, so whatever. Genes gene pool ain't traveling that far. But it was just, shocking to see her and just like, dang. And they both kind of resemble him to me.
Yeah. Like I was looking at especially
eyebrows and the eyes.
That one meme where she has the beanie on. I was like, that's Kobe's child right there. That's Kobe's child right there.
I'm looking. Sorry, Vanessa, but
I mean, I'm sure she's beautiful because of you. But
they got some good traits from him.
Yeah,
for sure.
But that was she had the whole oval face, the makeup of his face was her.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, that is definitely his child.
But to get back to it. One, Vanessa, before there was rumors that she's willing to have as many kids to get him a boy, and it's like that's completely been trumped by just how good he is.
Yeah.
And how content he is.
Yeah, he was like, I'm good
with his girls, dog.
And it's funny how the one that touched me the most was the L. Duncan story. And he was like, yeah, I'm good. We might try to get another one, but I'm a girl dad. I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, That is what's up.
Because we do hear that amongst men. You know what I'm saying? Like,
We do.
and I don't think it's malicious.
And I find it, so the one thing I would say, at least about myself, at least in the last 8 to 10 years, I got to a point where I was like, yeah, I want a son, but I really want a daughter.
Yeah.
Like, I want a son just so I can have a son, but I really want a daughter. Because, it seems like they bring something out of you that you just can't get from a son. Because,
the son is kind of selfish. It's kind of like you want to see a little you, and, you want to be able to, have father-son time and just be like, all right, when I was fixing the table, my boy crawled out in the garage and it's just me and him. And I'm like, all right, I'm working on the table and he out here. And I'm like, it's great.
Yeah.
But you was at my wedding. Do you remember during one of the speeches, what Elisa's friend said that I was hoping for? Or excited for? I wasn't hoping for either, but.
Did he say a daughter? Did she say a daughter? I don't know.
Twin girls.
But you know what? And when she said that, I might remember that because I'm, like I said, over the last probably about 8 to 10 years, I really was like, if I do have kids, I really want a daughter. I want a son. So when she said that, I was like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? They cool, man. Then they usually be, the funny thing about it going, especially with my nieces right now, now that I'm older, I'm a little more attentive when I'm around them. I pick up then I'm like, man, these little girls is they when they get around the little boys, it seems like they a little advanced. I'm like, man, were they always faster than us? Probably were.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? They just, I don't know, it's just something about them. And I know when I had my nephew and my nephews, it's a little different, my interactions with them than with my nieces.
Yep.
It's a little more baby, you can't do that. As opposed to, nigga, what's wrong with you?
It's tough love.
Yeah.
Versus
potential
agape, which is unconditional, and it's just and some of that is, I think, is rooted in protection.
Yeah.
Right? It's just innately.
You gotta be
man to man is
you gotta be a protector. So you gotta,
at some point you gotta man up to carry this, right?
Yeah.
And to
you gotta get it. Now I can, foster that emotional connection.
Yeah.
And,
the nurturing side.
Yeah.
And, if I let Charlemagne tell it, right, that's where you can kind of get in touch with the divine feminine, right? Which is, there's extreme masculine, extreme femininity, right? And it's just saying, hey, we all have a little bit of both, and it's that's the purest form. I'm not saying that's the purest form, but for a man, that's our way of delving into that side.
Because that's your baby.
Unabashedly, right?
That's your baby.
There's nothing holding you back from that. That's why you see a lot of dads, they'll dress up as a princess to have a tea party with their girl. Because it's say what you want about this.
It's my baby.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, if a little, if it's just like your homeboy say, hey, man, let's put on dresses and sit down for tea. You go, yeah. It's
fuck wrong with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. When baby girl say it, and it's you damn right. Take a picture doing the nay-nay in the frozen dress, you damn right. Why? Because my baby wanted to do it. My baby wanted to do it.
Yeah.
You damn right.
Yeah.
So shout out to him, man, for having that relationship with his daughters. And right now the media's kind of highlighting his relationship with Gigi, but there's no way that.
Yeah, he didn't have that with all of them.
There's no way. You know what I'm saying? Gigi just took interest in what he had an interest
in. Yeah. That's what he's most known for.
Yep.
And she was the one. She's the first one, at least.
Yep.
Because you never know that. The two coming up behind them.
Absolutely.
Because usually it's the youngest that usually kind of.
And also consider that
really do it.
He wasn't he's not in the league no more. So she took an interest at a time where he was available, and I not to say that he was a poor father to Natalia, right?
But he even says that that was one of the reasons why he got into the helicopter thing.
Yep.
Because he wanted to be able to drop him off and pick him up.
Yep.
When he could, and the only way he could do that Was
Helicopter to the facility, train,
the
helicopter
30-minute
back.
the 30-minute helicopter trip there, 30-minute back. He can get there and back. And it's like, especially when I'm in town, I want to do it because there's gonna be a lot of times when I'm not gonna be in town.
And I love how the naysayers who are bringing up bullshit or whatever. I didn't really feed into too much of that, but nothing. It felt good, seeing them fucking kind of having to swallow their words when somebody, whoever it was, reposted his interview that explained the helicopter. Because, of course, with tragedy comes, a lot of grieving, a lot of celebration, but then you get the opposite side of that, and I tried to steer clear of that. But people have been pretty highbrow with handling, the other side of that. And it's showing interviews like that where he says, like, traffic is just terrible. And it's like, the excuse for not spending time with my kids can be I'm sitting in traffic, or I can spend this money, make these trips shorter, significantly shorter, because LA traffic and rush hour is, you got 8 lanes both ways, and they both in a standstill. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, right? And he made that sacrifice financially or whatever, whatever the sacrifices were, so that he could get home quicker, hop in the car, and then drive his kids to school. You know what I'm saying? Or at least be in the car with them, because they probably had a driver, but whatever. Be in the car with them, so he could spend time with them, that valuable time with them, man. It speaks a lot to him in his character. Gone too soon, man. Kobe Tat coming soon. Best believe that.
Well, I mean, your boy LeBron and AD already got one.
I'm joining the game.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out what it's going to be. But, again, man, this was the dude I watched growing up. He was my MJ. I'll say that. Whether he's better, and I'll speak to that too, is that when I got that news, I put my hands up. I said, I'm done with this fucking conversation, dog. I'm done. Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, a month ago it was like humorous to, to some people to even include Kobe in that conversation. At this point, like, I'm done. You got it. Like, it just, this incident kind of, like, I was ashamed of myself for even having that discussion. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, in the grand scheme of things, none of that shit even matters. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And nobody made that more clearer than I think Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan, because Jordan recently had an interview where he's like basically giving LeBron props. He's a great player. He's, there's always gonna be comparison. Like, that's what y'all do, right? The league is different, and my league's different from his league, but right now he's arguably the best player in the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's Jordan saying that about LeBron. You see Kobe's last tweets. Congrats, congratulating LeBron on breaking his record and surpassing him, telling him carry that torch, continue to advance the game. They had love for each other.
Yeah. And I think, especially since Gigi had him coming back to the league, I actually, over the last year and a half, 2 years, have been coming around on Kobe. That's as weird as that sounds. I think that's another thing that kind of like there it is right there. Yeah, I think that was like the thing that kind of made me realize that I was like, man, I actually was coming around this nigga, and now he gone.
Yep. And it's crazy, man, because I'm watching. I can only root it in his competitive nature and his will and just drive to want to be successful. Look at this, man. Won the championship, 5th championship. His daughter's on his shoulders, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. But I listened to some of the interviews, man. I was a little upset with ESPN. I've been a little upset with a lot of the news reporters and all that on how they've been reporting, man. And I'll say this, and I won't give it too much light, but a lot of the stories, I feel like, and a lot of the testimonies that they're bringing people on to share, they feel like underhanded, kind of compliments in a way.
Why you say that?
Just because you get comments like, one lady was on there, she was like, it took me getting cancer for Kobe to speak to me. And I'm just like,
oh, I don't know. I haven't heard that.
She was a reporter. It was a lot of reporters. It was a lot of reporters.
I think the one thing, okay, I think I know what you're talking about. I seen that one.
Older lady, gray hair. It was Monday. This was Monday night.
But the thing about it is, All right, so they had an actual kind of little beef though.
No, and I understand that.
She was the main reporter for ESPN doing the rape trial.
And I understand that.
So she was gonna take that ill.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
I understand that. And it's just
I forget her name. Yeah, I know who you're talking about because
Yeah.
she's everywhere. She's
But
everywhere.
it wasn't just her. It was Will Bond. You know, Will Bond, and like they kind of started the they didn't start it, but his comments were kind of like, well, I picked LeBron, and it's like this ain't. So
I think that's just you because I think for the most part when I heard those same stories, my perspective was more they were just saying how, yes, even though we had this trauma or beef, we both decided to get over it prior to his passing, which is why I'm happy that we did get past it.
Yeah.
And for her, it was just the fact when she got cancer, he was like, this is bigger than, what I'm saying? Like, let's put this behind. We've been doing this for far too long, and I'm past that. I'm in a better space. You need good energy. I don't want to be that bad energy in your life.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
and I had to sit with that a little bit and understand it.
yeah,
Right? And with context, I understand it. But again, I mean, that was my guy. You see them two numbers?
I get you.
I'm born on the 8th. That's my birthday.
I got you.
So the number 8 was already important to me. But then you throw it to that. It's crazy because I go to get dressed the next morning. I open the dryer and the Lakers jersey is in the dryer. And I'm just like, damn. Now I'm crying. And it's just like, come on, man. Why are you in here with the tank tops? What's going on right now?
What's going on, woman?
I'm mad at my wife again. Why is this jersey in with the white tank tops? Crying in the laundry room. But and I'm glad I can laugh about it now, man. Because as you see, all the pictures of him, man. Kuz right here. I don't know what Kuz doing with these braids, but have at it. Laughing with Brian. I think this was literally the night when LeBron broke the record. I think this was in Philly. Jalen right here gonna have a story. Kobe put 81 on his head.
Well,
but he gonna have a
I think technically 42, but yeah, he was a part of that. 81.
He was on the team.
Yeah.
81. But you saw the commercial. How many olives? 81. But
he get it.
yeah. but all that to say, and the segue out of this, man, he's a great father.
No, man. That's an inside joke. He gets it.
Two. Don't. 2 olives.
That was funny.
But I'm glad we can laugh about this, and I'm glad that there were like comical moments that people could turn back to and see that he was arrogant, right?
Oh, yeah.
But he was arrogant, and I forget who said it, right? It was on the TNT. I think it was Kenny. I think Kenny said it. The arrogance wasn't rooted in just in an innate, I don't know, in privilege is what Kenny said, and I agree with what Kenny said. The arrogance was rooted in work, right? And I'm gonna pivot to Wale because Wale had a lyric that say, a wise woman told him it's okay to know you good, right? To know that you're good, not that how we say how you doing. I'm good. It's to know that you are in fact good at what you do.
Yep.
And what stands out to me and what has always stood out to me with Kobe was his work ethic. It's literally what I pride myself, a humble brag here, is that, of all my qualities is that his work ethic is one of them. That's one of the ones I pride myself on. If anything else, and it's not one that you could brag about, very often. Can't dance, can't sing, you know what I'm saying? It's just, work ethic is not a glamorous trait. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's not marketable. It just is what it is. And of all the stories, that stands out to me the most. It's LeBron, Dwayne Wade sharing a story about him and LeBron down at American Airlines where they get fully dressed and it's like they hear basketball bouncing and the net swishing. They're like, who somebody on the court? On our court. And they go out there. Kobe working out in their court. And Dwayne Wade said, oh no, he can't outwork us on our court. He got to they go back in the locker room, get back in workout gear, go back on the court. And Dwayne Wade will tell you, we didn't stay as late as he did. but we went back out there. You know what I'm saying? Jay Williams, shout out to Mr. Duke himself, saying the same thing. Is that he go to Staples, Kobe out there working, and ain't no passive moves like Jay Willie said he out there doing moves like these are complex moves that he's working through, and Jay Will say he does his workout and then he sit down and he's watching Kobe, and Kobe's still going, and they got a game in a few hours and Kobe's still going. Jay Will said he put up 400 made shots, right? Kobe's still going. And then after the game, it was like, what was that about? And Kobe tell him, I wanted you to know you weren't going to outwork me. Right? And this ain't stuff that he kept to himself. It's not like he didn't share that with the world. Yeah. Like and that's what I think has rubbed off on players. You know what I'm saying? Is that even the Lou Will story, he going to let you know how he feel, but it's not because he's an asshole, which I think is how it was perceived a lot of his career. That's what's motivated him. Maybe he didn't understand that other people weren't motivated by the same things that motivated him, but that was his driver. That was his driver, though. He's fueled by the negativity. He's fueled by the trash talk and by the I don't think you can do this kind of mentality, right? He fed off of that. And and as the league transitioned to a more like LeBron league, where it's more positive affirmations, and we're going to reward positive behaviors rather than talk down on negative ones, right? And there's a transition there. There's a generational transition, I think. My generation is more of that, right? And I have to, be mindful of that myself. But that was the trait that I admired in Kobe the most, was his will to get out there and put in the work and to not ever, I don't think he was ever anybody's, like he wasn't giving the league like LeBron was. In a sense.
I mean that was kind of on him.
Yeah, yes and no.
I think if that trial didn't happen, it would have been his.
Well, no. I'm talking before that. I'm talking even when he was drafted.
Well, so he was 16th pick though. What? 14? 13 pick.
Yeah. No. Yeah, but but there's still a difference.
I mean, they did give the league to wasn't Iverson the number 1 pick that year? Mm-hmm. They did give it to him.
I agree. Yeah. So, but that's my thing. That's what I'm saying though. It's like I can make an argument.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, I can make an argument that like LeBron, the king, like that was his title before he played a single game, right?
I got you.
Even Jordan, I know Jordan went number 2, but he was neck and neck with Sam Bowie, and it was kind of some comparison because it's like Jordan shorter. Bowie, the big man. It was kind of like a big man's league.
It's a big man league.
Yeah.
It's a big man league.
So it's
a
like,
big man league through 2000, essentially.
Absolutely. Till Shaq's descent, really.
Yeah.
So
that's what I say, 2000.
So Kobe wasn't even looked at as like Jordan echelon, right? It was like this high school kid, he's got some promise. We'll see how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
I just think, but I think my caveat to that, my rebuttal to that would be is I think that if that wouldn't have happened in Denver from about 2004 to about 2009, it would have been his. And were we talking about him getting robbed of 2 MVPs? He wouldn't have got robbed because they were trying to put another face on it because LeBron hadn't won a championship yet. So they couldn't just completely give it to him.
Yeah, but I think I agree with you, but I think what we're saying are 2 different things.
Oh, really?
I'm saying that there are players that are drafted that are expected to be great.
I got you.
From the
jump. I get that.
Okay. So I'm not arguing all of that, right?
I get that.
He took the stand and he stood by his wife on that stand and said, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? Rightfully so. He should get whatever backlash comes from that. And that's another thing I love about him is he took that and went with it and he bettered himself as a result of it, right? Mm-hmm. But my testament is more to coming in the league. It wasn't the red carpet. He wasn't given like the red carpet treatment.
Well, so he was, you know how they always say the first child is the one that go through all the hell. Mm-hmm. Him and Kevin were the first.
Kevin Garnett for you.
Yeah, Garnett was like the first like high school people since.
Let's see how this works.
Yeah,
right.
And so by that point it was like, yo, we saw it in them. So we know what to identify in a high schooler if he can do it. Yep. And this guy is 2 inches taller than Kobe and bigger.
40 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
Probably more. I don't know what Kobe was when he got drafted. I'd be surprised if he was 200.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he was 200. I don't think he was
6'6",
200.
LeBron 3-4 inches taller.
Yeah,
50, 60 pounds heavier.
They probably was
faster.
about. They probably was about the same. Because I think he eventually got to about 6'8", but
faster, stronger,
yeah.
taller. He's a hey.
It's just
what
like,
they said about Drago and Rocky 4, they thought that boy was a machine, man. That's how LeBron looked coming out.
So I mean, but at the same time, I feel like if that wouldn't have happened, though, it would have been his league.
I agree. I agree with that.
They couldn't do it to him. They couldn't.
I can agree with that, but I also think that if that wouldn't have happened, you wouldn't have had the fall and the humility,
probably,
and the rebuild.
You probably wouldn't have got the introspective Kobe that became what he is. Because they're like, because of all this, they've been playing a lot more. Like because he was never like my guy. Yeah, come on, man. I'm not the one to turn down. That's you. You got work to do when you go home. So I don't look for his interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, granted, I got like a couple homeboys that, Kobe came to like their companies and then he heard him like, yeah, man, he speaks good, man. Like that nigga owns some shit. And so of lately, this last week, they've been playing more of his interviews. I'm like, man, yeah, this nigga, he figured it out. Like, unfortunately, it was probably towards the end of that last run. So, he couldn't, but he figured it out. I was like, what can I do to make my team better? And it's about the journey of this team getting better. And he kind of put that on to, everyday life as well. You know what I'm saying? And I had literally within the last year when Antoine, he went to like a conference, met Kobe, and Kobe was like, man, he's like, I picked up so much game from him. And that the little meeting or talk that they had, it was like, man. So, and I'll tie that back to the girl dad statement, right? Because I forget it was on with Shaq and Kenny and those guys and Chuck and D Wade, and they said that that probably was the best thing that happened to him was having those girls because it softened them up. Yeah, and it taught them that everybody don't learn how you learn. Yeah, and you got to change your approach to reach people. Because that's another thing too. And so because I noticed that. So this is something that I noticed with my dad and me and my sister. And I was like, early on, I might have been like 12, 13, and I realized, when I ask this nigga for shit, he always say no. But if I get my sister to ask for it, it's hard to tell her.
Soften them up.
Hell yeah. So in that instant, you know what I'm saying? He used to being, it's my way to highway, but it hits you differently when your baby is crying. And it's like, but why, Dad? Why?
Yep.
It hits you differently.
Now you got another one.
Yeah.
And another one.
Yeah, it hits you differently.
Damn,
man.
3 girls? Mamba can't miss. Damn, man. Yes. But so on that note, man, I think we can give the Mamba a round of applause. Man, look.
Matter of fact, dude, let's go ahead and give him 24 seconds of silence.
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead one more time for the Mamba and Mambacita.
And the other seven passengers. And let me read off their names, man. I gotta pay them their respect too. Sorry, I thought I had it. But
I got it here.
Okay, yeah, there we go. All right. So the other 7 passengers: Ara Zobayan,
Peyton Chester,
Alyssa, John, and Carrie Altabelli, Sarah Chester. Sorry, I separated you from Peyton. Christina Mauser. R.I.P. Rest in power. Rest in paradise. Rest in peace to all 9 victims. Thoughts and prayers to your loved ones, to everyone in your 6 degrees of separation that have been impacted by your lives. Tragedy that it happened, and I'm hurt. The world is hurt right now, and pray for thoughts and prayers again to your families and loved ones. And
I think we get the last thing I'll say on it is, and it's an ironic thing. I think Bomani said it earlier this week. You know what I'm saying? Who would ever thought that Bill Russell would be sending out a rest in peace Kobe tweet?
Yeah. It's crazy, man. And I will put a positive spin on this, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm kind of motivated as a recent.
Yeah, it kind of motivated me too, dude.
I've been running, man.
It motivated me as well, dude.
Got my ass running. I'm like, I feel a little pain, man. I think I'm going to take it in at 3. And it's just like, Mamba mentality. I like what Joe Budden said, though. You probably, I don't know if you listened to it.
Hear it.
Joe Budden said, you got to be careful with Mamba mentality. That shit how you fucked up. Joe said he had a cup of soda. Nigga said Mamba mentality. It was like, damn, well, Kobe had this cup of soda. So you gotta be careful with it. You know what I'm saying? Apply it sparingly. It's like parsley. You know what I'm saying? Garnish it on top of something. But I will say, you know, I've found a lot of joy in the memes. You know, a lot of people asking, you know, you think Kobe crossing Jesus up there, and I hate, it's blasphemous. I know, man. Goddamn, man, I gotta laugh at something. I seen the memes with Kobe putting the moves on Jesus, got them sandals floating up in the air. It's like, damn, Jesus. I mean, you made them. You know what time it is, man. So yeah, man. R.I.P. to all y'all. Different meaning to Mamba out, but gone but not forgotten, man.
Already, and you know, to kind of piggyback off that, you know, the marathon still continues.
Absolutely. Damn, that picture hurt too, man. They got each other up, LA, man, we feel your pain. Y'all not in this alone. Kobe Bean, Gianna Bean, Gigi Bean,
Mambacita.
Mambacita.
You right.
Dog, I went as far as I was Googling this nigga's patents and trademarks.
That nigga making some money, man.
He was. He was. I'll put it at that.
I like
patents and trademarks don't guarantee money though, but he was making money, man.
He
created a lane.
That, and you know what I'm saying, like the nigga made what, 300 million on fucking armor. That armor shit.
Body armor.
Yeah, off of $6 million investment.
Yeah, that's estimated. That's people like you and I saying, "Hey, I approximate."
That don't matter, man. That still matters. I mean, he still made his money. He making money off of it.
No, I agree with that, but I'm saying like people speculating on that. That's like me evaluating, you know, doing a valuation.
I get that.
So
we agree, but at the same time, I still see that as not only the fact that it jumped from. Like his investment in it went from $6 million.
Who else did that though?
To 50 did it.
50
but
who?
Hey man, we know who 50 is.
Yes, we gotta say the name first. We might have Caucasian.
We know who 50. Hey, we in the same fucking group.
56.
Hey,
56 Jackson.
Hey, we
his purchase of Glyco
we
water.
from the same minority group, man.
Yes. I'm just saying we might have minority listeners.
But and we'll move on. But he was very involved in it in the sense that he put together like marketing strategies. He did.
It's the official drink of the NBA right now.
He did. What is it? Commercials, like wrote, edited, and fucking directed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he was very involved in their.
Shout out to Granity Studios.
Their shit, you know what I'm saying, exploding.
Yeah.
He just wasn't one of the motherfuckers that just gave him $6 million and was like, all right, holla back. So
he had a say in it.
Like he said, he put the same mentality that he had in ball into his investments and adventures outside of ball, and so that I did respect that. So like I said, we said this earlier doing that segment, but doing episode 24, I was coming around on Kobe like, yo, this nigga. He is the academic. He's the academic like me without being academically trained. He was, and that's very impressive.
I hate to say this, but I have to say it because it exists in our community, right? He was the in sports. He was the nerd.
Yeah, but he was. The funny thing about it, them Cali niggas. Like when I was in school, so at Southern, there always was California niggas at Southern, and they would always say he's just a nerd, man. He a nerd. like even when they was talking about like we'll talk about this off air, but it was like he's a real nerd, man.
No, he is. He absolutely is, and maybe that's why I gravitated towards him. And this is not meant to be like come off as like a brag or anything, because I'm not bragging. I'm in a lot of ways nowhere close to achieving what he's achieved and accomplish what he's accomplished, right? But it's like a lot of the shit that he went to and a lot of the criticism he got, I kind of feel like I lived through some of that.
Probably.
Right? And it's like the person, even at work right now, when I say like we gotta be better. Like I think of his more successful commercial. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, well, how successful do I need to be? And it's like, okay, did we meet our targets last year? Yeah, we met them. But we still kind of suck. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the mentality I have at work. And again, that's not a brag. It's just like, if you know better, you know better. It's
True.
a blessing and a curse. It's just, you know better. If we put out a trash episode, like if I went home and edited this thing and you know that like this could be edited better, you just know that like you think this is good, but I've seen greener.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've kind of heard, and that's kind of what I hear in people's criticism
Of him?
Of him in the past. But
We keep going. We keep adding on to episode
you might as
24.
well, you might as well take a timestamp and add this to 24.
we keep adding on to 24.
Hey, at 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 minutes, 22 seconds. Go back and add this to episode 24.
Yeah, 24.
5 minutes before this.
But I guess what I would say to that is his problem. I don't think you probably went through it, but his problem with me wasn't something that I feel like you would have done. Like, and that was and I guess they're saying that he technically didn't do it. But the whole ratting on well, if I was just Shaq, I would just pay her.
No, he did that.
So that's the shit that kind of like
Whatever.
turned me off on him. Like, dude, you can't do that, bro.
I agree. But
You gotta stand on your shit. You on your own now, man. Like, yeah, you should have been smart enough to do that.
that was a
And again, I don't feel like you or I would have done that.
No, I wouldn't have, right? But that to me is not a career. All right, so I guess my overall point being is that that's a lesson that I've already learned, that certain topics I'm not going to speak on too publicly.
Yeah.
This kind of goes back to Terry Crews. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get jammed up, I don't know shit about him getting jammed up. Now, if he put his foot in his own mouth, that's on you. But I'm not going to be the guy that's like, man, I told this guy.
So, but,
So, yeah, in that regard, yeah. Kobe was kind of square with that.
And to, piggyback
So was
off
D.
that,
Russell.
And to he was. And to piggyback off that, you know what I'm saying? That, I feel like, us as black folks, that's we have a penchant of like fighting for those that fought the good fight. And I feel like if he would have done that, we would, it wouldn't have been like that, oh, I'm a Kobe guy, I'm not a Kobe guy. It'd have been just like, no, he took his shit. You know what? These white folks fucking over him. He should be the face of it. He's the best player in the world. And because of that, not only did they have that argument against the establishment, they also had that argument inside of our
Amongst the ranks.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if he wouldn't have done it, I feel like, because like all I had for him, the only reason why I picked sides was because I was like, that's fucked up, dude. You gotta close your fucking mouth, man. Don't throw someone else under the bus to help you out.
But again, and I say this, like, I agree with you. Like, I'm not gonna disagree with you. But that's 31-year-old me talking.
Yeah.
And 41-year-old Kobe would probably agree with you.
Yeah, but I think 20-year-old you wouldn't have done that either. Because at 20 years old, I wouldn't have thrown. No, I know I wouldn't.
I know for a fact when I was
little situations on a lesser stage, you're a fraternity nigga. Like, there are situations where I'm sure someone threw someone under the bus to help them out with their girl. And it's like, why you did that?
We call that spraying. But yeah, but again,
like, and that's weak.
But okay, so let me say this much, right, about that situation.
And I never did that.
And it's speculating, right? I'm speculating. because I've said things about my best friend that people would probably think is like,
To who?
that's fucked up. To people that's not my best friend. With the caveat of that, I said it to my best friend.
Okay.
Right? So
That's
when
fair.
I listen to Kobe's interviews,
And that's fair.
When I listen to Kobe's interviews, and that's context though, I just gave you context. But if I didn't give you that last sentence, right, you'd be like, nah, that's fucked up, right? You shouldn't talk outside, of your issue with other people. When I listen to Kobe's conversations, and I listened to a Shaq's podcast today, right? Shaq's got a podcast, and they played like an old interview between Shaq and Kobe. I guess it was right before his last season, right before the 2016 season started. And Kobe is like, yeah, I say this shit to Shaq. And most people were like, you got to be the dumbest motherfucker I know. So he wasn't afraid to say it to the media because he's already said it. And this is me, admittedly, this is me looking for similarities between me and Kobe right now.
Yeah.
So I get that, right? So admittedly, he probably did a little bit of that where he said too much, but because maybe he thought that because I've already addressed this with Shaq and I'm not afraid to address it to him face to face, I damn sure ain't afraid to say it to this person with a microphone.
So the one caveat I would throw in there is a difference in talking about your professional life and your personal life. So if you're talking about, Shaq's fat and he don't work hard, that's different. Like if I go to Shaq and be like, yeah, you fat and you don't work hard, that's different. It's another thing to be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You're sleeping around on your wife and this, that, and the third, and then go out and say, yeah, well, I told him to his face. He's sleeping around on his wife, this, that, and the third.
Well, he never said that, so I don't want to put that on him.
But at the same,
I don't want to put that on him.
But that is akin to, I should have just been like Shaq and just paid him out.
All right,
that's akin. Because Shaq was married.
So I agree with your statement. And what I will say to that is that Shaq said this in his interview, and I give Shaq his credit, is that what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. That's an unofficial.
All right. Well.
Right. But now, mind you,
I think that's a catch-all.
This interview was 2016. So this is post Shaq and Kobe's feuds. And Shaq admitted to doing a lot of shit that was, equally immature. But
I'm sure if he had to do it all over, he wouldn't have been as lazy as he was.
But it wasn't even about that. It was about saying shit to kind of excite and instigate and push shit forward. But all that, Kobe said what he said, right? I don't agree with that shit. I don't agree with it. When D. Russell did it, it's like that's chump shit. That's chump fucking shit. It is what it is. I call a spade a spade. You could be my boy. Kobe's still my guy, right? I don't think any lesser of him, but that was a moment in time where I could say, that was some bitch nigga shit. And if I could look him in his eye and I could meet him, I'd probably be smiling when I said it, but that was some fuck nigga shit, right?
Yeah.
Back in Pine Hills and a pop guy, we say that was some A1 fuck nigga shit.
All right, well.
Like you was a grade A fuck nigga for that, right? I say it, but I be smiling because like this nigga's my hero, but it is what it is.
Yes!
But all that to say is that, Shaq gave game on that, and it's that certain disputes between brothers should be kept between brothers and between minds that understand what we're going through.
Exactly.
The world don't understand men that are young and giving everything and
black,
have to learn.
Like Jay said, black and live in the movie.
That's it.
Black, young, rich, and live in the movie.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes life has to humble you, and that humbleness, right, isn't appreciated by the world.
And that situation humbled him.
Absolutely. But to that point is that sometimes the world don't understand your humbleness, right?
Well,
we spoke to like the rape case, right?
Yep.
That he was acquitted of.
Yeah. That
if you read into the case, the young lady didn't testify because she admitted to embellishing and evidence was stacked up against her. I won't even go into that, right? Because there's no need to smear her character.
And in that instance, we don't even go no further on that because we're not arguing that. Like it was a bullshit trial.
Thank you. All right.
But at the same time, that was actually, you know how they always say it's the darkness before it becomes the light. That was I think the last part of it goes you're gonna get even darker when you're like, yo, why you did that shit? Now, even as people in your own community are like, yo, that nigga's he's a cone boy. Why are you doing that shit? You should never say nothing. Why you bring Shaq in that?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But he came back from that, and look, man.
It is what it is, man.
The mentality of Mamba came after that, and You know
that
what I'm
was
saying?
it for number 8.
We show love to that, man.
He
you
was
know,
reborn as 24, which I don't, I speculate, and it's, I don't know if it's
what
not
you think that
conspiracy.
is? What you think that is? One, because
The 24 can either be I'm the next Jordan,
one above Jordan,
or it can be,
like
what's
Kanye
2
said?
times 4, right?
Okay, yeah.
So how else do I get to 8? 2 times 4, okay, boom. Different beast, same animal. You know what I'm saying? That's why I lend to that, because he said that shit in that commercial with Kanye. Be more successful, Kanye, by the way. Mamba Mentality. Different beast, same animal. But shout out to episode 24. Starting off episode 24, volume 24, Hot Takes and Half Truth. Volume 24, a tribute to Kobe Bean Bryant. Yes! My personal hero, respected by both myself and Ivy Joe. Yes! A tribute as well to Gianna, aka Gigi, aka Mambacita Bryant. Yes! As well as the other 7 beautiful lives, souls lost in the tragic accident, helicopter crash on January 26th. We due to the emotions and due to, just everything surrounding the topic, we just kind of rolled into that episode. We didn't start it as we typically do. We felt like it would be appropriate to do that at the end of the episode, separate of the episode and all the topics discussed within it. So thank you for listening. First and foremost, thank you for, on behalf of the Bryant family and all the other families, we want to say thank you for all the thoughts and prayers that we know have, been going up into the universe for those lost in this tragic accident. Sticking with the how we do things here, we'd be remiss if we didn't encourage you all to interact with us. Don't be a square. Hit that share.
Hit that like, thumbs up, love, notification buttons on all our social media platforms, on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook. You can find us on the Hot Takes and Half Truth podcast. On IG and Twitter, you can find us on the HT Squared Pod. And if you're true to new school, old school, feel free to reach out to us via email at htsquaredpod@gmail.com. You can reach out to me directly on social media platform, IG and Twitter at I am Ivy Joe, and that's Joe Jeux.
Absolutely. And you can send all your positive Kobe and Gianna memes to me at Just Kingin, JUSTKING. Yes! On IG and Twitter as well.
And just like that, we're done. Try to do better next time. From the 2 of us to all of you. Talk to you next time.
R.I.P. Mamba. R.I.P. Mambacita.